Crypto Flip.
Welcome back to the Crypto Flip podcast. I am your host, Harris King, and I'm joined once again with my co-hosts, Ricardo and Deji. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on audio platforms, don't forget to leave a review because it helps us create new episodes. And if it's your first time listening, we talk about everything to do with crypto that's going to help you in your investing and trading journey. We're three individual investors, and we like to get into the nitty-gritty of what actually moves the needle when it comes to making money in crypto. So if it sounds like you, make sure you stick around. So this week, I want to talk about why selling your Bitcoin right now is the worst possible thing you can do. So the current price of Bitcoin is 63.2. I was actually speaking to one of my friends recently, and he's a bit of a casual. So he's got his DCA going, and he's always asking me whenever we get on the phone, what's going on with crypto? It's not mooning. He has a little bit of despair about him. And I actually told him, like, now's not the time you really want to be selling. Now's the time you should be thinking about potentially buying. Obviously, there might be better opportunities to buy in bulk, but at least started to make some of those purchases now. So I want to know from you, why do you think it's the best time to not sell your Bitcoin? And maybe you disagree. Maybe you think you should sell it all right now, pack it up, and go home.
Well, why you should not sell your Bitcoin right now? Bro, do you know who asked this question? It's people that are like a bit new to crypto, or they think the price isn't moving, things are steady. Should I just get out now? Is it going to zero? I think just based on historical performance, Bitcoin is not going to zero. Many altcoins are going to zero, that's for sure. But Bitcoin is definitely not going to zero. Should you sell your Bitcoin now? Bro, look at the chart. If you go back and look at the chart for Bitcoin right now, the previous all-time high we had for Bitcoin was about 60,000, right? Top of 50s, top of 50s or just over 60. We're back at that point now, but except we ran it up to 125 in January. So we're about nearly 50% retracement. So for everyone that bought in January, they're looking at the chart and they're like, well, I've got half the amount of money. For everyone that bought 3 or 4 years ago, when it was at its previous all-time high, they're like, oh, well, I have the same amount of money. But realistically, almost everyone that bought in between those two times, are in a good position. For everyone that's been dollar cost averaging, they should be in a good position as well. Right now, you look at market cycles, there's 4 major market cycles. Right now, I reckon we're in the point of accumulation. Things have topped out. There was euphoric stage. Everyone was happy. Oh my gosh, Tom, Dick, and Harry were talking about crypto. Your cab driver was making XRP trades while you're in the back of the cab. But now the hype has died down a bit, and people are looking and saying, it's probably the best time, obviously no financial advice, it's probably the best time to say, I'm just going to keep buying crypto right now around this price for as long as you can. And the price will continue to slide, and like we said a bunch of time on the pod, I reckon we're probably going to see something towards the end of the year. I'm saying October we're going to see the lowest point for the cycle, but I can't imagine that low point being more than 30-40% from where we are now. When you look back, let's go back more than 4 years now. Let's go back 2021, 2020, when we had that previous all-time high for Bitcoin. Bitcoin topped out at 20K. For everyone that bought at 20K Bitcoin back in 2017, imagine they went from 20K all the way down to 3 to 4 grand, bro. They went 75% down, and they were thinking, this is it.
That was accelerated by the whole pandemic, though. I think that wasn't a normal crash, was it?
But it was 4 grand, 3-4 grand for months going into 2019. So it was a year at that point. It was a long accumulation phase. I think it was actually the longest accumulation phase for I don't know. The graph is not logarithmic, so I can't see previous to 2017 very well. But it was a very long accumulation phase. It was like a year and a half. But like dropped down to about 7 grand, picked up itself to about 11, and then just slowly grinded down all the way to 3, 4 for months, and then started shooting back up the following year, January. Like when you look at where Bitcoin is right now, we're pretty much in the same zone. Like we went up to 125, we're gonna grind down, we're gonna keep grinding down, we're gonna go sideways for months, as a lot of people lose interest in the coin, they lose interest in crypto. It's gonna grind sideways for a while until, just like any market cycle, like it's gonna start picking up again. And if you're not one of those people that can time the market, and you're not in the market like every single day, or like even every week or every month, then what's the point in selling? Like if you're continually buying, you have something set up and you can get something set up anywhere you go. Like what's the point in selling at this price today? Like there is no point. And long term, like
someone might try and argue that if I sell now, then obviously I can buy back at a lower price if it goes down.
You're more likely to forget than doing that. Trust me,
bro, you're never gonna do that because bro, you have to think about the psychology. The people that held through that 3,000, that 20,000 down to 3,000, bro, like they are now 20x their money, and we're in a bear market. Like essentially, we're in a bear market from where they were. So bear market to bear market, that's 20x, bro. You're not gonna catch that. Like, let me tell you what's gonna happen. If you decide you want to sell now and then rebuy when it's lower, you're gonna sell at 60. It has the potential to go all the way down to 30, even 35, 20, 25, who knows? It's gonna land there, and you're gonna be looking around trying to see if there's anyone else to validate your idea, and no one's gonna be there to validate your idea except for us. So realistically, you're gonna be looking at the market. You're gonna think to yourself, why would I buy Bitcoin now? Maybe I'll just wait for it to like pump a little, and then I'll jump back in. And then when it's pumping a little, it goes from, let's say, 25 to 30, 35 over a course of a short time. You're going to be like, I missed it. Like, it's just not worth your psychology. I don't think human beings are psychologically wired as a mass to jump in on purchases like that. So realistically, I don't recommend, not financial advice. This is what I'm doing. I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin at this moment in time to then rebuy at a lower stage. And I am like very certain that we'll see the coin price go lower, especially towards October. But I'm not rebuying. I'm just gonna continue to keep buying, because at the end of the day, when you look back, all them man that were in 2018, 2019 that were holding 3K, thinking, have I messed up? They're doing well. So realistically, in 6, 7, 8, who knows, years, when I'm still holding this bag, because I will be, I'm gonna be looking back thinking, yeah, I'm glad I held through the 63. Because now Bitcoin is at 400, 500, whatever it is. Like, yeah, you just have to think on a wider timescale, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin will outperform your cash. It could outperform stocks and shares, but I'm never gonna fly that flag because hammer advised stocks and shares recently, and gold and commodities. Anyway, but yeah, I reckon long term, you just have to stay in there.
Yeah, you make great arguments, Eric. The last part where you capitulated saying, well, it hasn't been performing well than stocks and metals. I'm like, the wrong time to bring that up, because that's the only thing that can unwind your argument. But I mean, honestly, time to add to that, right? What I will say is, I'm not going to tell you, obviously, nothing we say on this part is financial advice, or just a competition between three long-term investors. And key word here that I mentioned there is long-term investment. Or investor, should I say. And I'm just going to throw a bunch of reasons why I think at this point, at this current stage of the cycle, it's wrong. If he didn't sell last year, if he didn't sell 6 months ago, when the market was euphoric, and then, market wasn't used to, hasn't priced in Trump's nonsensities and nonsensical things that he was doing, and his kids as well, like all the hype of, the privacy coin. If you didn't sell, remember I told you guys, I think it was 10 episodes ago, that whenever privacy coins are pumping, it's never really a good sign. Oh yeah, we still got another massive leg of the run to go. It isn't not. It's man them preparing for the next cycle. That's literally what it is. They take all the money that they won through from, they got through from hacking, siphoning, draining people's wallet, idiots that got spoofed, that got scammed. running into a privacy coin, into a clean wallet, getting ready for the next cycle. So that's usually what happens there. But I digress. I think we're much closer to the bottom than we are to the top. That's one of my main arguments, honestly. And you could say, I mean, maybe it's because of the World Cup. I've been hearing less and less more rumblings about people saying, yeah, we got another leg to go. Da, 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 da. I've been hearing, I think like I would say 80% of traders and investors have accepted their fate that this cycle is done and that 4-year cycle is absolutely intact. I mean, there was an argument, we were arguing 20 episodes ago, or making a case that, yo, the 4-year cycle is here. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of that noise have finally died down. And we love to hear, we would love to see it, because there was no indication that 4-year cycle was broken. Just because we have a president that's pro crypto, or we now have a ETF for Bitcoin, we have ETF for Dogecoin, we have ETF for some stupid stuff. So like, even kind of other than the ETF for Bitcoin, that's the only one that truly matters. Everything else is just kind of like, okay, cool, interested. You know what I mean? And actually, one can make an argument the best ETF investment is actually Apple Liquid, because they're the one that's like, that's the only treasury company that's actually in profit compared to BTC, etc., etc., etc. So
Oh,
I
wait.
think
You're saying that you should sell all your Bitcoin and buy Hyperliquid.
I'm him.
No, I wouldn't say that, because I at this point as well, the risk reward for Hyperliquid is not clear. Like, it's not a situation where, like, you see. Do you think? I'll ask you another question, and I think that question will answer me. Do you guys think Hyperliquid is undervalued? I don't think it is. I think it's properly valued. You know what I mean?
I'll say it's
Within the
probably
next,
fair value.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's about fair value. It's not.
Though.
You've been okay. So if they're overvalued, the next day, okay. So you think they're overvalued? I think they're just valued at the right price, and eventually, it comes to a situation where, like, as more and more crypto markets start to underperform, Apple Liquid will obviously catch a bit of that as well, and then they will be dragged down as the end. So I'm not saying sell your BTC to go buy Apple Liquid. I mean, if you believe in Apple Liquid and that's what you're gonna do, no financial advice, you can do that. But I think personally, for me, if I were in your shoe, and no financial advice, what I would do is I would hold my BTC and they can start buying a bit more. They'll create like a plan where, like, you buy, I don't know, $1,000 a week or a month towards your BTC stash, and just kind of have that stored away. I think that is the best move now, because even if it goes down by another 30%, sorry, if it goes another 50%, I still think you don't sell, because you're more likely to catch the right bottom holding a stash of Bitcoin already than being out of it and just feeding every FOMO. Anytime the Bitcoin pumps, you're worried, I missed the bottom. Every time it pumps, you're worried, I missed the bottom. Then eventually emotions are high, logic are low. You're gonna ape in, and then we'll probably get that bottom that we'll be discussing again, and then they're gonna be like all over again. So I think right now the best thing to do is just kind of hold your stash and add to it, if anything. And then I think we are past the stage where, like, the risk reward to sell at this point, like, you can't even write it off. Like, taxi is done. You know what I mean? So it's like there's just no incentive to sell. Like, you'll be selling at a loss, and on top of that, to try to time the market back. We said this again before plenty times. Trying to catch a falling knife is very, very difficult. And when it comes to executing it, unless you're experienced trader that takes emotion out of their workflow and actually set limit prices, set the entry right, the stop loss, make sure that they actually time the entry very well and execute it properly, I wouldn't recommend selling, because it's just, at this point, we are much, much, much closer to the bottom, because we could go 30K. I think the absolute bottom we will go this time is probably 30, 35. And trying to time that, you're better off setting buy orders around those ranges than trying to sell and time the what's called the bottom, quote unquote, because any little movement would just spike your cortisol, and then you'll be stressing, and you end up making a mistake, and then it's so easy to make mistake. And also, it's not easy to buy crypto in this space. You know what I mean? Just because of the supply and demand, and
What do you
also the risk that come. No, not necessarily. I mean, like, because of so much of the outside noise, everyone's got an opinion on X, and then you already had doubts already. So if you sell now, you're gonna be just psychologically, you're gonna psych yourself out. You're thinking, okay, I should buy now, I should buy now. So that's why I'm like, you're better off being in the market than out of it, trying to time the market. A lot of people I've known for a couple few friends that have been in that situation where like, yo, the bull market's happening, but they don't know when to enter. It's a shitty feeling to not to be on the sideline trying to get in, but you want a discounted price. These are discounted price. These are the times you can start putting in the work, and you know what I mean. And last but not least, I think you guys will also agree with me. When we're in the bear market of the cycle, right? You want to think more in terms of Satoshi's value than US dollars. Like, like eventually Bitcoin will catch up the US dollar and even surpass it long term. And the whole point of obviously holding Bitcoin is to kind of hedge against inflation, hedge against natural disaster, things that can happen, and hope like it turns profit. And I know it would. I think one day we will sit here on the pod and talk about how Bitcoin just became 200K, you know what I mean, and 300K and 400K. So you're better off thinking in terms of long term. You know what I mean? Thinking, okay, my portfolio is worth 0.9 BTC, rather than think, oh, my portfolio is 53K. You know what I mean? That way, if you're accumulating in Satoshis, it kind of helps to kind of manage the negative feeling like, oh man, my portfolio was 180K, now it's only 60. You know what I mean? But if you're thinking Satoshi terms, you have a Bitcoin in your disposal. And then if you play it right through the bear market, you could probably accumulate or double that. So when the bull market comes, you could be sitting on 8, 10 BTC. So that's how an investor that's new, and even some experienced investor, that's how they need to be thinking Bitcoin Satoshis. Measure your portfolio in Satoshi Bitcoin rather than measuring US dollar, because that's where people get trapped. And then they're forced to sell, and then they're trying to chase. And then by the time I chase and get back in the market, the portfolio value is a lot more because they've been entering in and out, in and out. So yeah, those are my advice for what to do at this point in the market. No financial advice.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing that I've noticed is that when it comes to the bottom of the bear market, it's typically preceded by some crazy event. So if we go back, we can see obviously FTX blowing up, the Terra Luna stuff. We've had obviously the COVID. Add to that, we had Mount Gox. So we've had a lot of instances where things happen and you think, wow, this could be the end of Bitcoin. I don't think we've had that this cycle. So, and there's nothing to say that that's 100% going to happen. It just has always happened up until now. Now we've had the opposite in a way, where we had the top and we had obviously Trump launching his coin, and then liquidity suck and all this other stuff. And we've had the Solana trenches and Pump Fund extracting and doing all of that. But in terms of things that will affect Bitcoin directly, we haven't really had that supernova event. So I think that's something to potentially wait for. Not saying, oh, wait for an event and it will happen. I'm just saying keep an eye out, and if something like that does happen, that's obviously a cue to buy some more. Another thing that's going to be interesting later on this year is Fed rate hikes. Obviously, this ongoing war has picked back up, and it seems to be raging on. And the headlines aren't really affecting Bitcoin as they have done in the past. However, when inflation starts to rise, and it will, because with this war, Iran is obviously going to put blockades in the Strait of Hormuz again, and that's going to cause oil prices to go up, which is going to cause food and eggs to be, ridiculously priced, or even more ridiculously priced than it already is. And that means inflation as a whole is going up, which means that the Fed will probably have to raise rates. And there's already rumors that may happen. So if that does happen, it'd be interesting to see what the effect is on Bitcoin as well.
The market would definitely react negatively to that, because what that means is, again, investors are forced to kind of hold on to whatever reserve cash they have, because cost of borrowing, cost of living is going to be squeezed even more. And I just don't see Bitcoin flying off the shelf on the news that rates have been increased again. So yeah, that's not really great news in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we'll have probably further to fall. I mean, for me, it's a conclusion, like foregone conclusion that now is definitely not the time to sell your Bitcoin. And even if you're trading, selling your Bitcoin is just giving your Bitcoin to an institution. That's basically what you're doing. You're saying, BlackRock, here, have some Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, would you like some? That's basically what you're doing when it could be sitting.
He's not even selling these days, so he's probably selling with him. You probably timing your orders together, fam, and executing it.
You know what's funny? I saw a tweet on X, and I think he was either selling some more or he was just positioning.
You were selling.
Yeah, so basically, he's now rebranded selling as, oh, we've got our Bitcoin or BTC stockpile, we've got our USD stockpile. It's sort of saying, oh, we're selling. We say, oh yeah, we've just increased our USD stockpile. So I think that was quite funny. But yeah, I mean, look, we don't know what type of event could happen that is of the scale or magnitude of an FTX or any of the other things that I mentioned. Maybe it is strategy going bust and having to force liquidate everything in their treasury. Maybe it's something else. We don't know. But what I do know is that if you have liquid on the sidelines, you're in a very good position. And you should probably be DCAing and, you know, having a weighty amount for when things do go down quite a lot. Because it wasn't too long ago that Bitcoin was at 50 something. So, you know, more of that will probably come and will probably be ranging. Right now, it seems quite steady around 63, 64, between there and 62. But things change quickly when it comes to Bitcoin. And yeah, you never quite know what's around the corner, because especially in this particular cycle, I think there's a lot more emphasis on macro. So I think that's somewhere where a lot of people should be looking at, simply because of the size of Bitcoin and the size of crypto as a whole. So bigger things is going to take something big to really affect crypto and get effectively the institutions that are mainly holding to force sell. Do you think there's anything else that could potentially shake Bitcoin down, or do you just think it'll just be part of the cycle that ends up bringing us down to the bottom, wherever that is?
I just can't see anything that would change.
That can cause BTC sell-off.
I can't
That's
see
what
anything that would change the sentiment so massively. Bro, remember, we have institutional investors now. We have ETFs.
Let me give you some context before you go, right? In all previous cycles, we've experienced up to 78 to 8% drawdown in terms of like finding the bottom of the market. What do you think? How far? So far, we're 55%. How far do you reckon we drop? Even though the market is even as mature as ever, what do you think?
All right, here's my thinking. When did we get ETFs? We got ETFs last year, January, right?
Was it approved there? Was it live, or was it just approved?
I think it was live.
Okay.
In my mind, the price at which those ETFs bought, like the price of BTC at that point, should be like a low. It should be like the lowest point that we should be seeing Bitcoin, just based on, you know, obviously I see ETFs, money's flowing in, money's going out, but institutions, and not even just institutions, we have like pension funds, we have long-term investment funds, we have hedge funds buying on the long term. If the position goes significantly against them, I just think it's bad news for the entire market. So in my mind, there has to be something
what
like
price is that?
specific.
What price do you think they average for the
Let me
ETFs?
try and find that.
So I think I have a feeling it's got like 35K, which is why I feel like the bottom is 35K. I think that is that's when they were buying aggressively. I don't know if BlackRock was buying way before previous cycle. There's no rumor of that. I don't know. I have no research to this, but I'm curious to see what the average price is. So, and also, that's real. They're not really holding it long term. They're literally buying enough so they can transact and sell to investors.
Maybe. I can't see anything crazy that would happen to Bitcoin from here to pull it down. I think 35, 20, 25, between 25 to 30 doesn't sound too crazy. And I get what you're saying. Yeah, that is a massive 70% drop off. I just think at some point, as it's falling, like the institutions have to step in and do something. Like I just think the floor potentially could be higher than we have seen it historically. And just based on that whole rainbow chart, like ultimately the crazy increases that we'll see in the price of Bitcoin, or that we have seen in the past, we won't see in the future. But we also won't see the crazy like drawdowns that we've seen in the past. So I can't imagine we're gonna get like 80% down from the top of the 125 market. So yeah, in my head I'm like, if we're talking 65, 70%, then I guess that still lands us about the 30K mark.
Yeah, it does.
It's a hard one.
I mean,
I think the whole industry's changed. Like the whole outlook on the amount of people that care. There always has to be a bigger fool. I just think that bigger fool mentality has changed, because now it's not the bigger fool, it's the bigger wallet. And I can't imagine a bigger wallet would say, I'm happy for Bitcoin, or I'm going to promote Bitcoin to go down to 10 grand versus like
no,
what we had in the past.
those days of 10 grand BTC is over, man. It's over. It's over.
Definitely not.
And I think, yeah, I mean, you're right, Rick. I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, I don't see us going below 80% from all-time high. But I'm drawing this drawdown from all-time high of 126, essentially. So the lowest I think we could probably go, like from 126, if you get a drawdown of 7%, I think it will be less than 8%. That's my thing. I think it'll be more likely towards, I won't be surprised if it's 65% max drawdown. So that will give you 35K low. 68% give you 39K, 40K, and 70% will give you around just below 35. And if you're getting 30K, that means we have had a drawdown of some 7%, which is not that bad. You know what I mean? I think after a massive move, those kind of corrections are pretty typical in Bitcoin. But in terms of what could trigger, what could catalyze this drawdown, I think we've been hearing a lot of news about AI tech, it's got AI tech space being overvalued, and sell-off in the tech space will definitely affect BTC.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about AI.
Yeah,
So,
because
if there's like a crash in the AI market, you think that will affect Bitcoin?
I think so. I think so, because like AI is ingrained in a lot of infrastructure and markets right now. I mean, even look at SpaceX. The first thing they did with their free cash was they bought Perplexity, which is an AI company. And even though it was an all-stock deal, and now SpaceX yesterday officially closed below pre-IPO price. China is getting better at building model for cheaper prices, and we can't seem to get it right on the Western world. That's a bit concerning. DeepSeek seeking to do the IPO soon as well. If DeepSeek
Didn't know
beats Claude and GPT to the IPO, that will be very interesting. Because like,
Yeah, and I
it's
saw
saying-
and what's it called? OpenAI. I know they're planning to do one soon, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're planning to do one soon, but it's on hold because they realize the amount of money they want to raise, and then with the talks of obviously people saying AI techs, the AI tech is obviously kind of overvalued. I think they kind of altered. I think it's only altered to 2027 Q1, so we'll probably see talks of it resume in Q4 when we'll probably find the bottom of the market for stocks and tech and crypto. And yeah, I think that could be the seller, because we've been getting a bull market in stocks. BTC's been lagging, and when stock bear market happens, or we have a good healthy correction, I think crypto will probably suffer from that too. So that's something to kind of be aware of. And obviously and rate hikes and stuff like that as well. That's very, very interesting. Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I definitely think the AI bubble could be interesting in a number of different ways. But yeah, if a lot of companies start cooling off in terms of their valuations and investors start running scared, as they have already started doing when it comes to sort of SpaceX, then yeah, that could be a cause for concern when it comes to crypto. especially when it comes to tech, crypto seems to be highly correlated to tech. So when it's doing badly, crypto also does badly, and Bitcoin in particular. So yeah, that's something to definitely look out for. I think the best way to go about it, if you're just an everyday investor in a dollar cost average, and see where these new opportunities are. If there's some news that sends Bitcoin tumbling, then obviously double down, and if things are just ranging, then just do the sensible thing and keep acquiring Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have conviction that one day, not in a not too distant future, Bitcoin will be $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, which is a 10x from here. So
I've got a prediction to make.
Go on.
Well, the World Cup's just about to finish now, right? And the BTC is what? 60, let's call it 62K flat.
Yeah.
4 years later, we're going to have another World Cup, 2028. What's the price of Bitcoin? Well, sorry, 2030. What's the price of Bitcoin? Because we're in 2026 now. Well, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is? I think you can potentially get, I'm being conservative here, 180K. Easily.
Well, if it's in 4 years, probably be...
By the next World Cup, 180K BTC. I mean, I want to say 400K, but it's a lot of move from here. A lot of move from here. Yeah, of course.
Do the analysis on the price of Bitcoin, percentage increase between World Cups, which loosely maps the 4-year cycle, right?
Exactly what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm saying nothing. But where I will be shocked if next World Cup the price is 63K. I think it will be triple that, because everything will be triple. Inflation will be tripled. Rates will be tripled. Everything will be tripled, fam.
Yeah, I think it'll be double. So I think it'll be around the 120 mark. And reason being is because that was the peak of this cycle. So if it's 4 years from now, then the bull market would have already come. And
I know it. Yeah, no, good point. Because at this point where the World Cup's ending, we're closer to the bottom than the top. Yeah, I would say I'm being optimistic. I would say 160. What do
you think, Rick?
You'll say 120. What do you think, Rick?
I'm gonna say all-time high. You mean like right at the end of the next one?
Right, yeah, right. No beginning. I say at the World Cup to World Cup. So
yeah, so this time, like the period we're in now, but in 4 years.
It's basically July.
Gee.
And it's always a rough summer. I don't know what it is. It's been a rough summer for crypto all the time. And early winter is always dancing, and then comes summertime, it's like everybody's like, yeah, I'm cashing out, man. Let's go buy a boat. Go buy a yacht.
I want to go buy a boat. Nah, I think we'll be just above like our previous all-time high. I reckon we'll be at like the 140, 150 range.
Yeah, cool. So me and Rick on the same thing.
We'll see you guys in the next one.